Hi everyone, welcome to another On the Sensors video. We have the full gang here again today. It's great to be back with Majo, 86 and Polyply. And today we are going to be talking all things GenCon 2023. To go or not to go, I guess, is the question.
What kind of question is that? Go!
That was the wrong IP. I'm sorry, that's Star Trek, not Star Wars.
There's going to be people that are still making that decision.
True.
Partially including myself, so you might have to sell it to me because I'm 50-50 on the board about whether to go. So we are talking about GenCon 2023, which will be in Indianapolis. The tail of the tape for that, it will be at the Indiana Convention Center in Indianapolis from August the 3rd to the 6th.
Yep.
And there will be some Destiny happening, and so I guess some people have asked for some information in the ARH Discord and on the sensors and Echo Base. There's been a little bit of discussion about going or not going, and what do we think? Majo, do you want to start us off with kind of why we're doing this video?
Yeah. Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, so Casero, we got to give Casero a shout out. Yeah, he was like super interested. He's thinking about going. He's gonna bring his boys, and they went to hang out with Jim the Tank. They went to one of the events at Silver Sun Games. He brought his kids. They had a blast. They made like custom cards with Tank on there. Anyway, but yeah, he was asking about GenCon, and I love it. I love when the community says, "Hey, we want to see this content. We want to learn about that." And so we got the crew together. We got a list of questions. Casero went out and polled the community. And so I'm ready to get into it.
I've got some questions as well, and you guys will hopefully all answer. Do you want to speak about did you go? You all went last year, I guess.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw pictures.
We actually roomed together.
Yep.
You roomed together.
These three gens.
Yeah. I mean, roomed together as in you were all in the same room, or you were sharing an apartment?
We shared a hotel. The three of us were in the same hotel, not sharing a bed. Just the night.
Unfortunately.
I had a cot.
Yeah, Polyfly, man, you took one for the team, my man.
It's all good.
He slept on a cot.
I'm an old scouter, man. I came prepared. I knew what I was getting in for.
Yeah.
But that was not the hotel room wasn't the reason we were there, right? Like it was the first time that, correct me if I'm wrong, all three of us had been to GenCon. Like we kind of heard about GenCon and knew about GenCon a little bit, but it was the first time that I had ever been. So I kind of knew. I mean, the whole point was to go there for 4 days of nonstop gaming action. So whatever the hotel accommodations were, it was like whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was great though. Like, you know, I had met 86 in person. We were at a Flesh and Blood event, and but it was my first time meeting you in person, Polyfly. No, that's not true. It's St. Louis. We met at St. Louis. But it was the first time all three of us were together. Man, it was so much fun. Like, it's hard to describe, and we'll get into this, but like that feeling of, these are my buddies, you know, like getting to know you guys over the past few years, and here we are, like we're doing this thing. It was awesome.
You know, it's amazing.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll do the bit. You guys can do the big sell later, I guess. But first, we'll do like hotels and accommodation and like any of the logistics stuff, questions people might have, your guys' own experiences. But first, I just want to get into Destiny. You guys are all very active in ARH. People that are watching this are going to be Destiny players, obviously, I hope. Tell us about Destiny. What do you have planned at Destiny at GenCon over the 4 days?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So in 2022, there were 3 events. We had FFG Standard, we had ARH Standard, and then we had Smash. And then all manner of, you know, informal, casual play throughout the whole 4 days. 2023, we're going to have 5 events. So we're going to have 5 events. ARH Casual, which is basically no competitive decks allowed. Bring your jank.
Yes.
Then we'll have an ARH Standard event. We will have Smash again with the decks provided. So that's super cool. Like, we actually picked up players last year. People just off the convention floor, like, yeah, I used to play Destiny. You guys got decks for me to play, and like Smash was just the perfect event for them to sign up to. It was like $6, I think, maybe last year. Anyway, so that was great. So we'll have Smash again this year. Then we will have the big, you know, ARH competitive event. That's gonna be the Grand Champs. Then we're gonna have 2v2. We're gonna have 2v2.
You're the whole reason all the centers exist. All right, so that's like a bunch of stuff. Is that generally one a day, or
so it's going to span Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So there will be one event Thursday, since it's really like the first official, start of the convention. There will be two Friday, 2 Saturday, nothing on Sunday. We got some feedback that like, hey, that's a travel day. That's like our unwinding day. So we avoided that day. Yeah. So it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm going to ask prizes. I genuinely don't know this. Do you have like prize support, or like what do you? I mean, what you said, the Grand Championships, is that like the World Championships? I guess is that what you're kind of replacing, or?
Well, no, it's actually going to be so the Worlds is going to the UK this year, since Worlds was technically in the US last year. So there will be more information will come out about that, but yeah, I mean, Grand Champs is really just like the plan is to have a series of competitive events that sort of culminate in GenCon. So some of those will be online, some of them will be in person. We're actually Sarah sort of teased a little bit at this today. We're gonna make some announcements about like what the Grand Champs like prize support looks like. There's gonna be some awesome new spot glosses available. Participation prizes. We're gonna try to build in one for the TO where whoever ends up hosting those. But yeah, to answer the question, like absolutely, there's gonna be play mats. We're gonna try to do some mouse pads, some custom sleeves, all the awesome stuff that Sarah always puts together officially through the ARH production team. All kinds of stuff, man.
I heard there's also a local artist that may be trying to work with ARH to produce some 3D printed stuff, trophies of some sort also.
I've heard that as well. And I do have some of that local artist's work here before me.
Oh yes.
Beautiful Jedi holocron.
I've got some of this local artist stuff in my house as well, actually. Sith holocron.
So, something we did for Norman's St. Louis tournament. I think we're gonna do not something similar or the same, but I think I'm gonna try to hook up ARH with some prizes too. So some 3D printed stuff too.
Yeah, so just to like elaborate even more on that point, because it excites me so much. Where the heck are they at? I know we gotta move on, but like prizes get me excited, and we have the community making all these donations, and so like that's the point of them, is to then invest it right back, right, to get somebody hooked, give them some prizes. So we actually sent these out through the release event for Display of Power, but there will be more stuff like this, some custom sleeves,
some sleeves,
more things like that. And I actually personally got myself some of these, and I'm planning to use them as a prize. So many people will recognize this art from Darth Vino.
Of course.
I actually got his fancy playmat art on some sleeves. So all kinds of goodies.
Yeah.
All kinds of goodies.
Okay, cool.
Are those these Dragon Shield, by the way?
Those are.
These are actually your playmat, which
okay.
I really like.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't. Yeah, I just saw that. Never mind.
These ones are Dragon Shield.
Oh, they are each. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so I can throw in two real quick on topic of prizing. So prizing last year, unless you had something more you want to say on that. I'm sorry.
No, go for it, man. Show it off.
I did get this.
Beautiful.
I've already tried to buy it off him last week. I said, "How much do you want for that?" And the Ahsoka one.
Yeah, I did get an Ahsoka one as well. I'm not sure how many of those are left in circulation. Oh yeah, and there's the app. Yeah, okay, there it is.
Yeah. So we had, as 86 is showing, we had some like actual FFG playmats that were like just leftover stock that we managed to acquire and use them as prizes. But then, as Polyfly just showed, we actually had artists like Cosmic Newt. Oh yeah, there you go. We got the Mandalorian and then Afra. We had Pistachios donate some art as well to some playmats, and man, it was awesome. There's gonna be more of that this year for sure.
Yep.
Right.
Lots of goodies.
You could sell all that and then make the cost back of your accommodation and your travel, and come out having made money at the end of it.
Oh, there you go, right there.
Yeah,
that's
the
beautiful.
One, yeah.
What's cool about that one, 86, is that that's not, that's truly like that art doesn't exist anywhere else. Like Pistachios did that. It's not on an ARH card. He just did it, donated it. It's got this feel to it, and it's like, hey, you're not going to see that anywhere else. So anyway.
So, well, there's some great stuff then. Great stuff.
Yeah.
How many people, so you played in this last year. How many people generally played the events? You said some extra Smash people joined, or like, what was that like?
Yeah, we had like, help me out here, guys. I want to say we had like 15 for ARH.
Yeah, something like that.
There was like 18 for Smash, and then maybe 16 for FFG.
Right.
Some of those actually had up to like 2022 signed up. Some people would like end up not showing up the day of, because there's conflicts, But yeah, I would expect more this year. Absolutely. I mean, heck, the people that we already know are going, like, is already enough to have a whole tournament.
Yeah.
Side note: if you are attending and you register for someone's tournaments, what that does not give them the money automatically. That gives you a ticket to their event. They don't get the reimbursement until you register. So if someone, say, has like 30 people sign up for the event and they buy all this stuff for prize support, and then none of those 30 people show up, they get reimbursed nothing. Yeah. So that's just
right. I mean, I guess that's part of when you buy your ticket, which I believe they go on sale on January the 29th for GenCon. Is that correct? For the main badge for the whole event.
Right. So let's talk about that. Yeah. So there's a main badge to get into GenCon, because it's 4 days of the best gaming, and not just gaming, but like there's cosplay, there's musicians, there's demos for games, there's a vendor hall that's not just doing games but doing artwork and books and all kinds of other stuff. There's craft areas, there's places for kids to go hang out and play games and do other things. There's meetups,
great food.
There's great food. There's meetups at nights. It's a 24/7 event. Even though the vendor hall is only open from like 10 to 6, there's something going on 24/7. Whether it's at the ICC, or whether it's at Lucas Oil Stadium, or whether it's at one of the bars or the hotels nearby or something. Something is going on 24/7. You could show up in one of the hallways of the ICC and play Werewolf with 12 other people at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's crazy. So the badge, the ticket to get in for the 4 days, you can buy single days or you can buy a full 4-day pass. Obviously, we're going to be there all weekend, so we're buying a 4-day pass. That gets you into that. But then there's like 10,000 other events that you can do, and they all take some sort of registration, whether it's a zero-cost ticket or there's price support involved, so maybe it's $10 or $2. There were some events for $2, things like that. So you get your badge to get in, and then if you want to go participate in events, so that those event organizers like ARH knows how many people to expect, then you go and I think it's in March that stuff will open. I think end of March. They haven't officially said
May.
Yet. May, is it May?
I think it's May.
You can then log into your GenCon website with your account where you bought your badge from, and you can look at the 10,000 list of all the stuff and go and search and get your tickets for it and all that good jazz. So there's two parts to that. There's the GenCon badge, which actually goes on sale, like you said, January 29th, right?
Yep.
And then after that, once all the events for everybody gets submitted, then that stuff will open up to everybody in May. So
yeah, that's one of the things that I didn't quite realize until we were there.
Right.
That like GenCon is super supportive of just people wanting to play games.
Yeah.
Like people are scheduling, submitting events for Dungeons and Dragons, like just local games. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Obviously, ARH, we've submitted events. We're going to be hosting all kinds of stuff. Last year, 86, you did a Flesh and Blood event. Like, that was super fun. I played in that. But it's just like, heck, half the freaking convention is just people off the street, so to speak, who want to host their own stuff. And they're not in it to make money. They're just in it, like, maybe they kind of get reimbursed a little bit if they had, like, some prize support. But they just want to get people together, hang out with their buddies, bring some new people in, meet new people. It truly is, like, it's something special. So
it's a lot. There's a lot there. And it can get very overwhelming. But yeah, there's two folds to that. So
yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Sorry, carry on with the Destiny a little bit. So like, there's like 15 to 20 people maybe for each event, or are going to be a group of people. What kind of players are they? Like, you know, are they like old-time Destiny pros that, you know, that just smash people all off the table, or, you know, what's that like? If you're someone like me that's, you know, like doesn't play regularly on TTS, or someone who I think their kids, how does that sort of work? You know, what kind of players do you have?
From my perspective, it was all across the board. I mean, it was A to Z. We had Sparks Nevada there with his daughter, Jenna. Like, that was super cool. We had a guy show up. I think his name is Stubby in Discord. He came with his daughter, and like they're like for the most part casual players, and like they're just there to have fun. But then you know you got people like Norman, who ended up winning. You know, he's the world champ. You know, so like it's the whole spectrum. You know, in my opinion.
There was even I remember this. A guy showed up that I guess his name was Caleb, and he cosplayed Kanan.
Yep.
Jairus from Star Wars Destiny. I came and sat down. I was doing something else, and I remember that I was like, "Did you know that Kanan?" Or no, "Did you know Caleb is Kanan?" Or like something like that. And I was like, sitting there like, "Yeah, that's old news." I was just sitting there like, "Man, okay." He was just going on, and then I finally like realized he was talking about someone there who was named Caleb that dressed up as Kanan. So there were a lot of interesting people that come through.
And that guy had apparently taken professional photos and had himself as Kanan on a card, alternate art.
It's all art cards, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So what? I mean, like, I guess if you're someone who goes on one of the Discords, you know, like ARH Discords, and you sort of see these people talking about GenCon, you know, one might easily assume that it's all like the top tier players, you know, your Normans or like Vikas or you know, any of these sorts of people that are always playing Rebel Trader, or, you know, or you guys or anything. If you're just a kind of player that goes in and makes the decks, yes, and plays, and, you know, the DB and all this sort of stuff, then it's a pretty welcoming atmosphere for someone to just join in.
So one of the things that I have to note from last year, and even though we were fully ARH, you know, ARH is still hosting an FFG event. Last year's FFG event that we had, we brought people that hadn't played Destiny since the last Worlds event that FFG actually held, and they actually dug their deck out, made no changes to it, and they saw an FFG event and were like, all right, I'm gonna come play. And so it got other people that, you know, weren't up on everything, you know, but still used to play, coming to play, getting introduced to the new ARH stuff, getting introduced to the Smash stuff, and coming in. And Majo, I believe, I mean, there's a casual event, right? A jank event, as you call it, on what, Thursday? So I mean, there is going to be some serious competition, obviously, but man, aside from the Smash stuff and the casual event on Thursday, yeah, I mean, I would bargain to say, even if you came and forgot a casual deck, I'm sure we'd have one there for you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, as far as like atmosphere, I mean, absolutely, it's welcoming. You know, I mean, I know for me, because I only started playing the game back in 2020, like after it was already canceled, like there was all kinds of stuff that was intimidating to me. Like I didn't want to play an Artificery League. Like I'm like, who the heck are these guys? They're just gonna whoop my ass. You know. And anyway, but like that feeling you might have.
Now you're the official best admin of Destiny.
Wow.
Look at what year can you.
Thanks for the votes. So like, you know, I guess like you might feel intimidated online, but like it's people, right? It's you know, it's friendly faces. It's like, hey, let's sit down, let's play some games, you know?
Yeah. And I guess this is probably, if you are playing Destiny, this is the one event that will like stateside for sure, you know, that like people to play at, because, you know, most of Destiny's on TTS, I guess now, webcam Destiny, people might have local events, but this is the one chance to go and meet everyone and play everyone and be part of something which is like a big Destiny thing, you know.
This game.
I went to Worlds in 2019, I think, the last one. Yep. And for me, that was just big because that was like the center of the Destiny universe. My favorite game, that was the center of the universe. And just immersing yourself in the games and the people and everything was just brilliant. Just like you said, you know, like, anyway, sorry, carry on, Polly.
I was gonna say, this game, along with most other games that people play, are first and foremost an in-person deal. Like the game is a personable, you know, playing it in person is the best way to play a game. And we've played this game for so long in person, and now we've played it for so long on digital. It's nice to put, you know, faces to names, see the people, physically interact, you know, shake hands, you know, whatever, with the people that we've been playing with online for, you know. And just like Majo had said at the top of this, like the three of us had never really came together at all. We've came together individually, like me and Majo in St. Louis, and Majo and 86 at a local Flesh Blood event, but like all three of us coming together to do the same thing, to play the game that brought us together online to begin with, like it's just, you can't beat that. Can't beat that feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, one of the things that I've got written here on my note was, it's corny as hell, man, but like friends for life, you know? You will meet people and they could be friends for life. You know, you guys that, you know, I was part of it. The four of us used to play a lot 2v2 and various things on the Essentials on webcam. And then three of you met up and now you're all close buddies. And I mean, that happens all the time on, you know, like people come from all over the world and you make friends at these things and then they stay with you for your life, you know, even if you don't, even if you fall out of contact with them in 20 years time, I'll still look back when I went to Destiny, you know, a few years ago or GenCon, and you're like, I had a time. That was when I used to play Destiny, and you know, was so into it. I traveled, you know, thousands, hundreds of miles, and met all these people and had a great time. And those memories stay with you forever. And that's why we all play games, isn't it? To make those memories, make those connections.
Yep.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, enough of the ranting and raving. Let's
Hey,
go to the.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the sentimental stuff. I mean, it's true. It really is. I mean, Gen Con, heck, even if you're not you're not super crazy about Destiny anymore, like, come to Gen Con. I mean, it is an experience.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the moment you walk in that door and you realize just truly how massive it is. You know, I'm sure we'll talk about that, but it is like, wow. I mean, they say it's the, you know, best 4 days in gaming, and that's not, you know, hyperbole. So.
Okay, well, let's do the logistics a little bit, and then we can, you know, we can get to that at the end. So you guys have been, well, the main thing is accommodation. You know, if you're coming from the USA or Europe or Brazil or Australia, who knows, man, all around the world, are the accommodation solutions, and how much is it kind of going to look at costing you, and what are the ways to get around the price?
So,
unless you want to jump in. You want to jump in?
I was gonna say, so there's a couple of different things. I'll talk about one of them. None of us have explored this option. I kind of was gonna explore it this year, but some other things came open. Gen Con does what's called a housing block and a housing lottery in February. And basically all of the hotels that are attached to ICC or within a couple block radius of ICC, they block off a bunch of rooms for Gen Con. They put them all into a pool, and if you purchase a actual Gen Con badge before the housing block lottery opens, then you have a chance to basically be picked from a hat to book, or have the ability to book rooms in that housing block. Now they run anywhere from $250 to $500 a night, depending on the type of room you get. But if you want Sky Tram, like Skywalk, a 1 block walking distance type of hotel, that's the type of accommodations that you can try to get in on, but you have to have a Gen Con badge purchased in order to have that available. So that's one option.
Yeah. 86, I mean, you really took the lead for us, like on behalf of kind of the three of us last year. Do you want to like talk about, you know, we weren't looking for a luxury last year. We just wanted to get there.
Right.
So, and I thought it was
the thing, I think the three of us, when we looked at something, we wanted something that essentially, we didn't want like 2 single beds and like a small room if there are going to be 3 guys there with a bunch of stuff. Because we had the pricing, like I think you brought the pricing for all the ARH events, and then Joe had all the like this camera, probably had all this camera stuff that was like stacked up, and like I was like, you know, if we just get like a small like little hotel room, this is going to be miserable. So we went on and we found a suite. But I think the best thing that for us was looking at Hotwire, and just I've always done the Hotwire hot rate for anywhere I go.
What's Hotwire?
Hotwire is a website, and I would say it's pretty well known if you're American. I guess I don't know if they have that overseas. I guess I'm sorry. I just assumed
Airbnb or what kind of thing.
It's one of those discount places or whatever, or fine discounts, I guess.
I think they kind of scrape the best rates for. They're not an actual hotel chain, but they get you good rates at various hotel chains.
Yeah, okay. So you can go on, let's say you go to Hotwire and you search that I'm going to be in Indianapolis for these days. They're going to show you a list of rates, and they typically compete with, like, because no hotel wants to have empty spots like any night. So they're going to essentially underbid each other, and you do the hot rate and you can get this random hotel. And usually with the hot rate, you don't know what it is. So like if it could say like you're going to be in this neighborhood, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, there's a 5-star hotel there, and there's a 1-star hotel there, and like it's well, I think it tells you the stars. Never mind, but like it's a great hotel and a bad hotel, and one's shady and one's not. And you kind of take the gamble, but
okay, right.
The one thing I would say is important to look at. I think Paula, you did see alternative, but typically the parking garage. If you park somewhere. If you're staying somewhere that's far away to get to the convention center, even when it's not GenCon, it's the parking garage is $30 a day, and I wish there was a way to get around that. I think you saw parking that was a little cheaper.
There's a company called I think it's called Spot 10. I'm trying to look them up right now as we're talking about them, but basically it's the company that does all the parking for the Indianapolis Colts around Lucas Oil Stadium. And it's I'm looking it up right now, but they use them to do, like, you can pre-purchase parking spots in their parking lots, covered parking lots, or outside parking lots. The parking lots are also monitored with people, so you can prepay ahead of time and be ready and have a guaranteed spot every day, or you can just try to go and see if there's any spots available depending on when you go.
That's not on or parking at your hotel.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we stayed. It's called Gate 10, by the way. Gate 10 is that company. We stayed a half an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes away, maybe.
It was like 15.
So we were driving in every day, and we did find a parking garage that was right across the street from the convention center. But like 86 said, it was $28 or $30 a day. So over the course of 4 days, I mean, that adds up to whatever your lodging is. Split between some people. I mean, it's not a horrible deal, but yeah, I mean, you still got to figure that out for sure.
I think you can lift. It's not
you can Uber back and forward if you need to from your hotel. What about Airbnbs? Because I'm assuming that's the cheapest way to stay there.
Sorry, were you saying something real quick, Maja?
Oh, I was just gonna say that the more people you can get in your group, like the more economical it's going to be. We were lucky last year for the three of us, kind of worked it out. Like if you're going solo, like might be a little harder, but it'll be fine. But you're probably going to save $1, right, when you're lodging with somebody's. Share the cost of like the parking garage. Like one day it was Polly, one day it was me, one day it was 86. So things like that.
Airbnbs, I think, get on them now because there's going to be a lot of people that have these like big groups that are buying them out. So,
sure.
I'm actually going to Indy next month for something, and that's just one thing. I know that like a 16-person Airbnb, you got that and split it up for 4 days. It was like $140 a night, and you can get, or not 140 a night, 140 for the weekend. Sorry, 140 a night would be expensive. You can get pretty affordable stuff, but you need to get those Airbnbs now or like a while ago.
So I'm taking my whole family this year. I'm taking 6 people, and a half an hour away, we were looking at hotels between $220 and $250 a night. That's a half an hour away. That's not including parking. Like the parking's there, whatever. So I was looking at almost $1,200 or so for my family of 6 to stay in, have enough beds and a big enough room for the 6 of us, so my 4 kids and me and my wife. Airbnbs, because of football season, because right down there by Lucas Oil Stadium, like close Airbnbs were kind of expensive. I know here recently I got hooked up with some of the ARH guys because some of the prices dropped because the Indianapolis Colts ended up not making the playoffs So I think some of the rates went down a little bit. So we were able to jump on an Airbnb, and our portion of it was comparable to what we were going to pay for a hotel on our own, a half an hour away. So you can find some deals, you can find some stuff, but I mean, like a few key things to note are, like 86 said, things are going to start drying up a little bit. With badges going on sale on the 29th, the housing portal officially, the housing block officially opens up Friday, February 12th at noon Eastern time. So if you want to be part of the housing, anybody who's going to try to be part of the housing lottery, that's when they're going to do it, and it's going to go within probably 24 hours. So after that, people who didn't get on that are going to be reserving hotel rooms. So just keep that in mind for anybody who's on the fence or is looking for options. After probably first week of February, things may jump up in prices. So,
and it's not, unfortunately, that jumping up in prices is going to be lodging, but like everything around there during Gen Con jumps up in prices. Like we were talking to one member who was thinking to come in, like, well, how much put our budget for food a day? And I was like, I think $30 a day should be fine. It's like sometimes like $30 is like, that was lunch. Like, hold on, depending on where you got.
Telling Gen Con to people, don't tell them it's a mortgage.
I mean, that's a good thing. Like, some of that was really good. Like, if you go there, like,
some of it's affordable. There are places, there was a Subway we went to one day, and there's things around. Don't get me wrong, it's not like gourmet, oh my god, you're paying $28 for a cheeseburger type of situation. But it is something to think about. And
all these things in,
if you can get together, like our Destiny fans that are listening to this, thinking about coming, maybe there's only 2 people coming. If you know other people in your area that may also go to Gen Con, buddy up with them. You know, go in on a hotel room, go in on an Airbnb, like go in on something to try to cut the cost down for you.
It doesn't have to be a fellow Destiny player.
Very true.
It could be someone that you know that's just going to play role-playing games, or
And so that's one other thing. So we're talking about the money side of it, and that's one other thing. There's going to be other people there that are there not just for Destiny, and even some of me, like me, I'm going for Destiny, obviously, but I'm also going because I've been now, and there's other things I want to go back and experience also outside of Destiny. And if you're one of those people that have always heard about Gen Con, Destiny's like the icing on the cake for you to come. If there's a Facebook group called Fans of Gen Con, and they actually have there are game companies that are looking for people to run games for them. And if you're looking for a cheap hotel room, I mean, a lot of the times if you put in a couple of hours of work for somebody as a volunteer, they'll help pay for a hotel room, or they'll pay for a badge to get you in. So if you're on the fence about, hey, I'm only coming with myself, or hey, I can help host on a Friday night or Friday whatever and still make Destiny stuff, that might be an option for you too. So there's other ways to get around some of that cost.
I can see
what you got there.
This is one of those games that someone hosted, like the Shovel Knight game. It was so good. But yeah, that is an example of like just like the people like
there's ways
contract.
Yep.
And I guess there is an AR on the ARH Discord. There is a Gen Con channel now.
Yep.
So that's probably your first port of call if you're looking to hook up with someone. I know some of the UK players are thinking about going, but because UK or European players, the airfare is so big to get over the Atlantic, then it's the accommodation that's like, $300 a day, 5 days is a killer. So some of those guys might be more tempted to come over, me included, if there was someone to hook up with, and then you could share like 6 or 7 or 8 person Airbnb, and then bring it down so that rather than it being $300 or $400 a day, it's $300 or $400 for the 5 days. So I guess start looking now if you're thinking about it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about travel because
can I pitch in one thing? Can I rewind one thing?
Sure.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, just because we said this, I feel like this is something important to talk about. It's probably the most important thing to talk about. What's everyone's favorite food while in the area? I know a lot of people will go for St. Elmo's. That's like the
taco truck for me. There was a taco truck and the, what was it called, Paulie? The food Gen Con alley. I forget what it was called.
Food truck alley.
Food truck alley. Yeah, there you go. Man, it was good. Super good. It was like, I don't know, $6 a taco. It was a little expensive, but like, man, they were
food trucks. Yeah.
Delicious.
This reminds me of the RH Discord or something when everyone's like, talking about Destiny or something, you know, like a post a day or a couple of posts, and then 86 comes in and goes, what's the favorite kind of pizza? And then it's like pages and pages of people all debating.
I think that's what 86 was getting at, because Gen Con usually does have an official pizza.
Oh, okay.
And he bought it. He bought it last year because it was
the hot box. I didn't get it with bacon because I'm vegetarian.
Right, but you got the tater, the loaded tater pizza, right?
Yep.
I remember you walked around with that dang pizza for hours, man. Here comes 86. He's got his box of pizza with him.
And I had the deck box, and like the one day I had all the prizing for one event, so I was like, literally, like I was going to events and like I was playing games, and I was like, yeah, I need to put all the stuff in the corner.
All good.
Oh, I think probably one of the most practical pieces of advice is to bring a backpack. Bring a backpack, pack your snacks, multiple bottles of water.
So,
you know, one of those little, batteries that you can charge that can then charge your other devices.
Yep. I don't know if we were gonna. Was the logistics on the actual convention and lines and stuff or whatever on your docket there, Duncan?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's just talk a little bit about travel.
Yeah, let's finish up travel. Sure.
Yeah.
You guys all live fairly close, Ohio and Kansas and West Virginia.
Yeah.
So
True.
I'm guessing it's driving distance for you guys.
8 hours.
8 hours. Wow. Where's that you're coming from? Kansas, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at a map of the USA just now, and obviously Indiana is kind of below Chicago.
Mm-hmm. There's a ton of people that come from that area.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, people are going to work out their own travel, you know. But as someone potentially coming from the UK, I'm looking at like what. To fly to Indianapolis from Europe is quite. There's not really any direct flights to Indianapolis, or many certainly. So you kind of have to change somewhere. If you just put into Google or Expedia or Kayak or whatever, like London to Indianapolis or Glasgow round to Indianapolis or Paris or something, a lot of the time you're paying quite a lot of money, like up to $1,500 or $2,000 or £1,500, and you're changing in like Boston or New York or Atlanta or places like that. But you can actually fly to Cincinnati, which is quite a close city, which has a lot more direct flights, I think, from Europe. Also Chicago. And then you can get Greyhounds from those two cities. You know, you can get like 3 hours from Cincinnati, sort of 4 hours from Chicago. So if you can get a cheaper fare there, then just if you type in Indiana and don't let that put you off straight away. That's what I would say.
Is Columbus better than Cincinnati? Because Columbus is just 70, like straight there.
Columbus, Ohio? Yeah. I guess, but I think Cincinnati probably has more international landing into it. Maybe otherwise. I know British Airways has a direct London to Cincinnati flight, which is one of the reasons why I was looking at.
And you might.
I'm also. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say to round this and link this back to the Discord plug you had. You might be able to hook up with somebody, a good friend, that if you do land from an international flight, they might be willing to come pick you up at wherever you land on the way to GenCon.
Yeah, I'm flying to Kansas City and getting a ride with Polyfly and his like 100 kids.
I got four kids, but I guarantee you they will have Frozen on the screen inside the van, so you're more than welcome to come along.
Oh, nice. We can let it go together. I might fly to New York if I come, because like there's lots of cheap flights. Everyone flies to New York. You know, British Airways, Virgin, Delta, United, American Airlines, JetBlue, you know, like loads and loads of companies fly to New York. So it's a pretty cheap connection to make. You can get to New York for like Norse Airways. There's like Finland Air, Iceland Air, Nordic Airlines, you know, a lot of the Scandinavian ones now to New York. You can get them for £300 or £400. And you can fly from New York to Indianapolis for like £200 to £300. So there are ways to get to Indianapolis cheaper than just typing it in and saying I want to go to Indianapolis. So that's what I would say for anyone looking there. that's a big part of it from Europeans, is just paying that huge price. I mean, I'm guessing in the United States you can pretty much fly anywhere to Indianapolis. Is that right?
Probably. Yeah. I don't do a lot of flying, so sure.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you got like multiple kids, like a plane ticket, like it's great if it's just me, but like if you're taking your family, it's like $1,000 more than that.
I would prefer to drive anyway. Anything less than 12 hours, I'm driving, because I'm gonna spend 12 hours getting to an airport, finding a place to park, getting through TSA, getting on the plane. Like I'm gonna spend less time on the plane, but I'll still spend 12 hours traveling.
Yeah, but if you're from like Portland or or California, right. And then you're gonna find that a tough drive. Whatever. I mean, obviously people will work out where they're gonna go from, but just for the European guys, like don't immediately just give up hope. There's always ways to get there. Get the train to fly to New York and get the Amtrak to Indianapolis.
Ride with Jim. Tell him to pick you up and you can go.
Yeah. Right. So I guess what else logistics wise? We are. I've forgotten what you said a minute ago.
So inside the convention center, you're looking at. I think last year there were 55 to 58,000 people. Right, so there's going to be lines for stuff. So understand, and that was over the course. I mean, I think that was badge sales. The biggest day is usually Saturday. That's what they call the locals day. People who are only coming down for one day, they're coming down on Saturday. So you'll see a huge influx of people on Saturday. But just be aware that there are going to be lines for stuff. Like it's not just even though you have an event ticket for something, like there's going to be stuff that doesn't take event tickets. There's going to be vendor halls. There's a secondhand auction. For stuff if you want to go in. There are specific booths and areas for specific publishers that have lines going to them. Like there's going to be lines for stuff. So just keep that in mind. When Parker, one of the things that I took for granted last year, and Parker Simpson actually reminded me about it, is have a little a 5-minute card game in your bag, or a little game that you can play in line with people. Everybody's there to play games, whether they're standing in line waiting for something or not. Like anybody will be willing to play a game with you to pass the time. So while I didn't stand in a ton of lines last year because I was mainly doing Destiny stuff and hanging out in Lucas Oil Stadium, I do know that there's a lot of things, like if you want to go see the newest game that comes out, if anybody's following Disney's Lorcana, the new Disney trading card game, like that's supposed to debut at GenCon this year. You're supposed to be able to purchase the first set I saw today there. So I mean, there's going to be lines for that. There's going to be lines for demos. There's going to be lines for stuff. So keep yourself busy, especially if you bring kids. Like it's okay to bring kids. I'm taking my 6 and 8-year-old daughters. I'm gonna have little backpack games to put with us so that we can sit on the floor and play while we're waiting. So just keep that in mind as well. There's gonna be lots of people and lots of stuff to see, lots of stuff to do. Just don't get frustrated by all the people. Like try to keep I know me, I get very punchy when I'm around people. Having a game, having something to interact with I think helps. So
my question to that is, like, what if you sort of suffer from anxiety, which I do a little bit in big crowds? Sure. My image of GenCon, I've not been to GenCon, is like those famous images that you see on videos, and it's like I don't know what it is, they open the door presumably on day one, and a billion people all rush down a corridor. That for me is like, I don't want no part of that.
So it's not Black Friday.
So
Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Destiny events will be, are likely to be at, where they were at last year. That is not as crowded, not as enclosed.
Right.
Everything's pretty open. The floor space is open. You can move around it. You can walk up it. Not a lot of traffic goes through there. That's okay. If you go through the main hall, so typically there's Lucas Oil Stadium. That's connected underground to the main Indianapolis Convention Center, or the Indiana Convention Center. You walk in the door of it, you can go down. There is the vendor hall on one corner, and you can just go in. Like it's pretty much like MinMax will have a booth there. Everybody knows MinMax because they sell Destiny stuff all the time for super cheap because they're trying to clear it out. Or all these XYZ game companies like Marvel Dice Throne was there last year. They sold the Kickstarter bundle, so that was really cool to go in and grab. And I think a couple of us grabbed that. All these different artists will have also like their art on play mats or the metal prints or whatnot at Gen Con. And there'll be a lot of cool things in the vendor hall, and I really recommend you check it out. As you go down, there's a lot of rooms to the side as well, and they typically are reserved for like FFG. You'll have a room to go in, and they'll just have stuff laying around. It's not necessarily a big demo room. It's just like, hey, we have this game and this game. Do you want to see it? I'll open it up, or you can just check stuff out, or maybe purchase it from there. Think of it like a small retail store, or just a demo area if they don't sell.
Yep.
And then you'll go back, and there's the huge hall, which can be connected to the vendor hall if they choose to open that door.
But it's not necessarily as busy as all the sort of images are made out to be.
Well,
is that?
It just depends on where you are.
So
yeah,
I think what you're referring to, Duncan, is the vendor hall is open from I think 10 a.m. to like 6 p.m. during the convention, right? So it's only open for a limited amount of time. Everything else is open 24/7 for the most part. The main hall that 86 is talking about, the main big hall, that's usually where they have rows and rows and rows and rows of tables, and they have different publishers there trying out, demoing different games. I went and tried a Ruby, if anybody's familiar with Ruby from Rooster Teeth. They had a board game expansion coming out. I went and tested that out. And a whole bunch of different stuff. 86 held a Flesh and Blood event in one corner of it. But the vendor hall, I think what you're referring to is around ICC, around the vendor hall area. There's a double level. So there's a main level, and there's like a mezzanine overlooking, and this is usually where a lot of people get the photos or the videos. But on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., they traditionally have what's called the running of the nerds. Everybody lines up in front of all of the doors before the vendor hall opens. They roll a bunch of dice. They usually have some sort of entertainment. There's a stage. There's usually some entertainment, music, whatever going on. And then to kick off the convention, they open up the doors, and everybody doesn't trample, doesn't run. We're all there for the same reason. No one's ever gotten hurt, but it's all the flooding into the vendor hall to see the wares in that area. So that's usually the big pictures. Everybody all lined up and knuckle to knuckle, elbow to elbow, trying to get in. So
did you guys take part in the running of the nerds last year?
We did not. ARH, we did. There was an ARH event at 10 o'clock the day that happened. So I don't know that I'm gonna go take part in it, but I'll probably go check it out this year, just to see. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
those of you that are looking to, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the reason it happens is because when you check in, you get a big book. You get like a program book. And then you also get a coupon book, and the coupon book has like free dice bag, 50% off something at this booth, 30% off something at this booth. And so once they're gone, they're gone. They're like show exclusive stuff. And so that's usually what people go in for. There's also something else that I didn't really take part in last year, and I may this year, but they had what's called pin trading, something I didn't even realize that they did there. But like certain booths had certain pins that you could go and purchase, and once they were gone, they were gone. And then once a day, everybody who wanted to met up and could trade different pins from different years to try to collect everything. So that's another reason why everybody floods the floor to try to get the first of stuff. So yeah.
For those of you who want to partake in all this stuff Thursday, you'll want to go Wednesday night and get your badge. And when I say Wednesday night, that's erroneous. You want to go Wednesday day and get your badge.
True.
I made the good decision of showing up, going to the convention center early, getting my badge. I walked in, walked out, went back to the hotel. They're like, "Oh, we need to get ours," and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's nothing. Just go walk in, walk out. It's painless." A couple hours passed by, I think. Then we decided to go, and I went with them because I was like, just gonna go there, come back, it's fine. No.
That line, it was so long. The beginning was next to the end.
It moved.
That's how long
quickly.
it was. It did. I will say, for as long as it was very efficient. All the staff were just super professional and like just sort of like herding the sheep.
So
but like Paulie said, like it's just a bunch of nerds, man, getting together. Everyone's there for the same reason: have fun, play some games, and you meet people, hang out with your buddies in the line. It's just like it goes by so quickly.
I will say when you purchase your badge, 86 says he went and picked up his badge. We went and picked up our badges because we purchased ours fairly late in the game, and so there is an option to have them shipped to you, U.S. Postal Service. So if you are okay with your local postal service, and you've ordered your badge ahead of time with enough time, then you can have it shipped to you, and it comes to you, and you don't even have to worry about going the day of. Now, last year, everybody had to go and check in anyway because of vaccinations and wristbands and stuff. This year, they're not requiring any of that. So if you are comfortable with the U.S. Postal Service delivering your badge, you are more than welcome to do it that direction, and it'll get shipped to you, and you don't have to worry about going and picking it up from will call. Otherwise, you go stand in line and pick it up at will call.
I feel like the will call line is like a pilgrimage. It must be.
It must be done.
It must be achieved again.
One does not simply walk into GenCon.
Yeah. Get it mailed. I'm gonna be that guy.
But yeah. Okay, well I'm gonna ask, like, we're gonna start wrapping it up soon because this has been a long video. It was good though. What was I gonna say? Right, so what does a typical day at GenCon start? So let's say take a Friday. What kind of time do you get there? What do you do? Like, take us through a day with a Destiny or event or two in it. Do you spend the whole day playing Destiny, or do you get to look around? Like, where do you eat at night? What do you do? Do people, do fellow Destiny players hang around after? Or take us through a typical day at GenCon.
Yeah, I'll start off, and then guys jump in. So like 86 sort of alluded to earlier, Lucas Oil Stadium, it's separate from all the craziness of this that you see in this background. Like, it's a huge open area. That was by far my favorite part of the convention. That's where we had all the Destiny events. People who were there just to play Destiny tended to, when an event would end, they would just chill. Like, they're still hanging out in Lucas Oil Stadium. There was nobody kicking us out of there. Like, there weren't back-to-back events planned. So when an event wrapped, people just chilled, and you could walk up the escalator, get a hot dog, come right back down, play some games. And so many of the days it was just, hey, you're playing games, you're done, let's just hang out, like we're here together, and then but there were other people though who were there for more than just Destiny, and that's awesome. And they went and they did stuff at the the exhibitor hall, they went and demoed games, and then they would come back and and then we would all kind of exchange numbers and stuff so we could stay connected. But yeah, that's just a little glimpse there. I'm sure you guys will add to that.
At Lucas Oil, something cool that we had done the first night, like the Thursday night, right? The Lucas Oil Stadium has a games library, so it takes event tickets, and if you didn't buy event tickets, you could buy them there too. But it takes a couple of event tickets, a couple bucks, and the generic
ones,
generic ones, and you had a huge library of games available to you that were donated. You could just go in and play. We went and played Red Dragon Inn for a couple of hours with everybody who was there. It was in Lucas Oil Stadium. It was actually where we were at for the Destiny events. It was literally right there next to it. So I mean, we just kind of hung out. Hell, I don't think we left that day till 1:30 in the morning, something crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like I said before, there's something going on in that convention center 24/7. Like you could not leave. I know I had heard of some people last year that didn't even rent a hotel room. They literally just slept on the convention center floor when they got tired, and then got right back up and started going again.
Those are the stinky ones. Don't be that stinky guy.
So what time would you get there in the morning then? You get there what sort of time?
So I think each day could start at 8 because if you think there are a lot of things going on, even if you are or not doing Destiny, then there are tons of other events. So there's other TCGs that you can go and do sealed events for. You can do Learn to Plays. Pokemon will have their big thing. One Piece, My Hero Academia, and all those different card games have something there. All these have their different board games have events that go on at the same time. You can buy passes to play. There's a place with arcades, and you can just play them all day. You can buy use generic tickets to buy a place to play video games. There's video game tournaments. There's board games. There's
so much because you guys were playing Destiny mainly. Is that right? Or
there wasn't necessarily Destiny didn't happen 24/7. One event usually took, I would say a Destiny event took 5 hours.
Right.
From start to finish.
And then we hung out and played more Destiny, but other people went off to go do other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. Okay. And do you go out to restaurants after, or have a beer, or is it all in the convention center? Do you just
there was a beer garden out in the food truck area, and on a couple nights we did go find food. So yeah, we did leave the convention center area to go get food.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, with your play group or with the Destiny groups or whoever, I'm sure there'll be some sort of a meetup thing again at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
If I rocked up by myself, little old Duncan going to Indianapolis in Indiana, I would have something to do in the evening. You guys wouldn't all just shoot off and leave little old me to fend for myself.
No. Too much to do. Too much to do.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So aside from playing Destiny and playing games, GenCon also hosts after parties. There's a dance party. There's a block party. Like, there's all kinds of stuff to do in the evening too. That was just GenCon related as well. So not just Destiny, but there was also all kinds of other stuff to do too. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Me and 86 are going dancing. We'll leave you guys. See you guys the next day. Getting our boogie shoes on. All right,
shows
cool.
me as his dance partner. I just want to rub that in. No, just kidding.
Do you guys have anything else? I guess we're wrapping up, aren't we? We feel like we've covered everything.
I
think so. Yeah.
I will say that I will say that there's a lot to do at GenCon, and it can get very, once you start looking at events, if you bought your tickets and are looking at events when they open on May 21st, I found out, by the way, from the Fans of GenCon page, there's a lot to do, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed. Reach out on the Discord. Talk to some of us that have been, even the three of us that went last year, talk to us. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. You don't have to sign up for anything. Just go. But come talk to us. Come ask us things. It's okay to be overwhelmed. We'll help you through it. We just want you to come and hang out and be a part of it.
Oh, God. Yeah. What a welcoming community. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It seems like a very welcoming, and you know, anyone, no matter what their level of Destiny interaction, can sort of come and have a good time and potentially make friends and have a great 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Register for stuff early. Let me say that. So it'll sell out quick.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
If you do go to play Destiny at GenCon, then you get to take part in all of the many videos that these guys all do post-event. You get to like hang out with Jim the Tank Dorsey on the video casts, and you know, like reminisce it and all that stuff. You know, you guys seemed like you had an awesome time, and you all made friends from looking and seeing everything you happened. You know, that buzz lasted a long time, is what I'm saying. You know, that buzz of all meeting up and having a good time. It stayed with you guys, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I mean, like I still talk about it. My wife kind of, you know, teases me a little bit because when I start talking about GenCon, I'm all smiles. Like it is like, you know, it brought me so much joy to be there, you know, meet everybody, host the events, you know, with 86 last year. And like, I just can't wait to do it all again. You know, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready. It's going to be awesome.
Nice. Okay. Well, I get the message is that it's a very welcoming event. And if you can go, you should go, because it's maybe a once in a lifetime thing. Certainly, probably one of the best things you could do this year. Okay, well, let's wrap it up then. Thanks, Majo86 and Polyfly, for telling me a little bit more about it. I am 99% going to try and make it up. Well, I've already sort of, you know, gotten in on some Airbnb accommodation, but I'm going to buy my ticket hopefully in the next few weeks, and would love to finally meet you guys. Well, I guess the message is that it is a welcoming event. How long is it till GenCon, Polyfly?
As of recording today, it is 197 days until GenCon.
197 days. Okay, well, it sounds like it probably could be the best thing that you could do this year, and it's probably memories that would last with you a lifetime. Friends for life, possibly. Certainly. So hopefully we've convinced maybe one or two. If one person decides they might think about going to GenCon, then that's been a great result. But otherwise, I hope it was an informative video for people that are going. Maybe they've got a bit more of an idea. Maybe just gets people talking about GenCon, and that's it. So thanks, Majo86 and Polyfly again. And we will see you soon, hopefully, for another On the Sensors video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Later.